Howdy, 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 and thank you for joining me tonight. Some of you are going to get tired of me real quick because you just saw me come over from Aaron's live stream and jump into this one. But tonight we're going to change gears a little bit. We're going to look at something a little bit different, and that is going to be the electric vehicles and what's going on with them. And before we get started, y'all know how it goes. Let's bring in our old pal from Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater Chad.
Hey, Poe, thanks for having me.
Howdy, thanks for joining me. Mary Smith, you were asking about interesting. Depends on what is trying to be accomplished. For instance, where is the electricity coming from? Well, that's not what that will be part of it as for the infrastructure and all that. But I'm going to go into a lot of things. Got a lot of notes for tonight because I've been looking at this and what's been going on. The reason is, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm anti electric vehicles. We were actually looking into electric vehicles. And the thing is, oh, well, look at there. That's very nice. Thank you, Susie Q. Never tired of you. That's awesome. Thank you. Hey, Matt, what's going on, brother? How are things up in the frozen northlands of Canada there? Let's see. Lena, Arctic Norway representing. I've actually got some news out of Oslo, and it'd be interesting to hear from your point of view, Lena, as to whether this is true or not. But these are things that came across in the news, and we're going to be going over a lot of it. So, as I said, my wife and I were looking at not too cold. Yeah, we got up to about 33, but now we're getting freezing rain. That's Matt was saying. I was asking about how it is up in frozen tundras up there. He says, not too cold at the moment. Yeah, but y'all got a different viewpoint of what's cold than we do. Because cold for us is nasty. But you guys, I know like going over to Minnesota and Wisconsin and northern Michigan, 30 below and stuff like that. How bad does it get over like in Niagara Falls area and all that, Chad?
I mean, it gets. Let's see. It wasn't the teens, and I think roughly around. It got down to about 5 degrees earlier this week.
Yeah, and for those of you who are going to be wondering why I got the Band-Aid on, well, like I was talking about in the Duncan Honig live stream where we were talking about near-death experiences and everything, and I was telling about how the bites have done damage to my skin and that I bleed very easily. And that's one of the things. Roscoe was in here while Chad and I were talking before the live stream, and just his claws caught me, sent me bleeding. So let's see, Michelle Southards. Hi guys, my first live. Awesome, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had a really good one. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's in my channel and Aaron's. I just did a live at about an hour ago with Aaron Smith-Levin, and I think we really got a lot of good information out there. We were talking about his arrest and a lot of things that went on with it. My take as being a retired law enforcement officer, retired chief of police. So if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, let me show you all something real quick here. Chad's probably getting tired of it because I'm sitting here dying, but I am literally 3 subscribers away from 5,000 subscribers. So I'm kind of freaking out, but
great.
Yeah, it's just that's a big thing. I mean, you figured, oh, hold on.
It's going to happen, Poe. It's going to happen.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, one more.
999.
We could do it, folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a coronary or a stroke. Oh, it's gonna. You know what it's gonna do? It's gonna do one of those things where it's gonna take a half hour, and then it's finally gonna do it. Oh man, it's gonna kill me. Let's see, 320,000. Wow. Okay, you're only 320 kilometers away. Yeah, but 320 kilometers, that's 200 miles. So isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. 320. Okay, I can't mathematize right now, but yeah, 1 mile equals. Yes.
All right. Good job, Poe.
Hit 5,000 subs.
Nice.
I'm dying. I don't care what happens. We can have nobody watching this. I'm gonna be happy. So there we go, folks. 5,000 subscribers. Oh, Lord,
Nice.
Lordy, that's awesome. Thank you all so much. I know I say it. I know some people get tired of hearing it, but I truly appreciate everyone who comes and spends your time here. Your time is precious. And thank you so very much. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for the congratulations. All right, let's get into it. I'm dying now, but I've crossed that milestone. I'm happy, happy, happy. So
Great.
let me see here. Okay. So as we're looking at the new electric vehicles, I'm telling you that Chevy Silverado EV, that's a sexy beast there, buddy. What do you think, Jed?
Doesn't look as good as the Cybertruck, Poe.
You and I are going to have some talks about that damn Cybertruck.
Poe and I disagree on a lot of things, but we're still good friends.
Oh yeah, we can joke like that. That's not a problem. And I got to tell you, that's pretty slick looking too. The F-150 Lightning.
I like the Lightning because it has the emergency power and stuff you can tap into.
Oh, does it? I don't
Yep.
know. I've been trying to keep up with it and everything. Hey, Victoria, thank you. Let's see, Mary. If the electricity goes out, aren't you stuck? Well, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about with that. Yeah, I'm telling you, both of those trucks are. I think that they're just absolutely beautiful because I've been looking for a new truck. Normally I like to buy old vehicles, but this is going to be something that's pretty much going to be my last. I'm 55, so I'm looking for the vehicle that's going to last me for the rest of my life. So, and thank you, Lena. Thank you. So let's talk about what's going on in the electric vehicle market, and it's not good. And hey, Joe Pinto's here. Hey, Joe. Joe, I just crossed 5,000 subs, man. I about wet myself. Well, I don't know about that, Mary. Mary says it's pretty as a fancy manicure. I do all my own manicuring with a knife, so you can see how good a job I do with that. So thank you, Sharifa. I really appreciate it. Electric vehicles. Not too long ago, the wife and I were at a Kia dealership in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I was looking at their electric vehicle. I can't remember what they call it. I think it was like the EQ or something like that. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful, but it is also expensive. Oh, wow. It's 2 a.m. there for Sharifa. Wow. You got to go to bed, go to bed. We ain't gonna hate on you for that. Marshawn. Someone was someone asking about Aaron and what happened with him. Let's see. I didn't see it. I've been scrolling through everything so quick. But yeah, if you didn't know, Aaron, here we go. Aaron gets arrested more often, so I will increase your mind.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see. The girlfriend just bought the new 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4-door recently. She could have gotten, I think it was a hybrid, but why they're like $50,000. That's something I'm going to get into. Thank you, Joe. And Tommy J's here. A friend has a Tesla Plaid. It's a that nobody disputes that. Those electric cars, man, they'll ish it and get it. So let's see. Dance Ma, welcome. I'd like to see more of how to rock an electric vehicle if you're stuck in the snow. It seems like the tires just keep spinning. I got to do a lot of I'm going to be doing a lot of content that's going to be in the pre-recorded and edited, showing some things, just simple things. Check your oil, how to check your, different things in your vehicle that are, I'm not a licensed mechanic, but I've been working on cars since I was old enough to walk. So, there are a lot of people who are garage mechanics that have never been through a day of schooling in their life that can fix cars better than professional mechanics can. Yeah, Victoria, I'm going to go over that. I've got some videos of that too. Uh,
And and just so you guys know, I am going to be refuting everything post test tonight. So
200,
respectfully,
215 miles an hour isn't anything over 70 a waist. No, that's really impressive. It is impressive. I had a BMW X3, the turbocharged version, and that daggone thing, I had it up to 153 miles an hour on a controlled situation. And man, that was frightening. Marjan, I heard that Ford stopped making the factory for electric vehicles. I'm going to hit on that. There's a lot going on. So as I was saying, I was at this Kia dealership in Ann Arbor, and I was looking at the electric vehicle they had in the showroom. I was talking to the sales manager for that dealership, and I was informed that that car had been sitting there for 6 months. He said it's one of, I believe, 3 electric vehicles they had there, and they couldn't sell any of them. And that absolutely blew my mind because, number one, you're in Ann Arbor, which is pretty much the epicenter for hippiness and all that in the state of Michigan. So if you can't sell electric vehicles in Ann Arbor, something's going on. So I decided to start taking a look into it. And there's some interesting things I found out. Oh, that's interesting. Joe, I test drove a Zero motorcycle. Very strange, no clutch and quiet. I've been wanting to try those, but I know a lot of them are being made in China, and a lot of them are catching fire. And so I'm kind of weirded out. Let's see, Tommy J, I have an electric bike. That's as far as I'm going until the range improves. They don't do well. Yeah, I think, and it all plays into the manufacturer and things like that. And Chitz is here. What's up, Chitza? So, all right, going to my notes. And here's what's going on. One of the things they found out is that every manufacturer is starting to slash prices on their EVs. And that really had me concerned. What's going on with this? Where are they doing that? And then we find out through, I believe it was Consumer Reports had a report out on it where they were saying there's something in the area of $4 billion in losses over the electric vehicles because no one's buying them. Out of 700,000 that have been manufactured, 700,000 out of 1 million are sitting in lots, and they're not going anywhere. Nobody's buying them. They're not being shipped. The current president's administration requires that by 2032, 2/3 of vehicles manufactured in the United States must be EVs. So that's a pretty heavy haul. And I'm, a little bit here. I'm going to go over some of my thoughts on this stuff. As I said, the dealers are having trouble. They can't sell them. Ford stopped the production of its F-150 Lightning. GM canceled their deal with Toyota. The CEO has been making big promises, but they can't meet the quotas that the CEO is putting out. Ford also canceled their new battery plant, and Tesla has canceled its Mexico plant. And it's getting kind of crazy. Toyota, they made the big announcement that they have no interest in the electric vehicles. I know they are producing some, but their prior CEO said that is not the future. They announced they're coming out with an ammonia-fueled engine that's supposed to be amazingly efficient, something like 800 to 1,000 miles on a tank. That's the range on it. So let's just go over some of these points here. It's crazy that all of this is happening. There's thousands of people who have already lost their jobs because GM, Ford they're shutting down production, and they're in the billions in losses over them. And when we talk about by 2032, 2/3 of vehicles must be electric vehicles, the problem I have with that is we have ever changing things that are going on. So there's the technology is improving almost daily. And it could be very soon that we have vehicles that are running you fuel them with water and they create their own hydrogen within the engine to run on, and they're pretty much 100% efficient. The only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is water and oxygen. So, to make the make the statement that we should have 2/3 of all vehicles being built in the United States should be electric, you're kind of closing the door on progress, ingenuity, and invention. We have to be open, and we have to, yes, I believe that we need to keep moving forward on things, but we also need to also remember you can't just pigeonhole us. Let's see, from Majan, Toyota Motor is very conservative, and if they don't like EVs, then it's not good. I think one of the problems that they have, and Matt's hitting it here also, the infrastructure. And that was another thing that came up in the report that I saw, was the fact that they have a lot of these charging stations that are out there that they're breaking down like crazy because it's the amazing amount of power that's going through. Or if they're open and running, the lines of people waiting to get there to charge their vehicle. And it's not like with going to fill up with gas where 5 minutes, you got your full tank. How long does it take, Chad, to fully charge an EV at these stations?
It all depends if it's what level. If you're doing a 220, if 220 or 420, most of the people are talking about, or 440. 440, or I don't even know because I've never done a 440. But
I would say that's going into 2 and 3 phase.
Yeah, you're talking double 220. So I'm going to say about 40 miles per hour.
One of the vehicles that one of the tools that someone was offering to send over to me required 3-phase electricity, and I was just like, I got to have somebody. It's going to violate ordinances on building structure and electricity going into the building. It was just going to be a lot of problems, and I had to turn it down because that's some big stuff. Okay, what is the drain on the grid, which is already overwhelmed? ? Do we have to call China to get that replaced? Well, and it's all going to be dependent on where it's coming out of. I mean, quite honestly, from what I'm seeing, Taiwan is the actual place where all this big, huge technology is happening. China's moving forward very quickly. So let's see. Wow. To 25,000 for the DSRX, 170-mile range for the base model. What's the DSRX?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one either.
Oh, that's an electronic motorcycle. Okay.
Oh.
I'm seeing right here $20,000, Joe. You might want to go check some stuff out. Yeah, it's saying $20,000, 544. Let me put this up on the screen so everybody can see. So let me go here. First off, we'll pull up a picture of it, if it'll let me. There we go. So that's the Zero Motorcycles DSR/X. That's kind of crazy with the, I take it that's the battery there, or it might be the engine, but wow, that's kind of, that's pretty neat. Let me get back to the page on it. But Joe, if you see right here, it's saying from $19,995 on those. So that's a good step up. I just don't know, $20,000 for a motorcycle. I haven't bought a new motorcycle in years. Yeah, like Dan Small was saying, there's a lot of problems right now with our infrastructure. Matt was saying it also. And folks think they are saving the planet. 100% not true. The EV has a carbon footprint of 80,000 miles before it leaves a lot due to the mining of stuff for batteries. Yeah, the nickel cadmium and those things. It's crazy how they the damage that's being done to the earth. And then let's not overlook the fact that the conditions that the people who are out there digging for the nickel cadmium are in. They're literally calling it slave labor. Oh, that was the power tank, Joe? That is with the power tank. Oh, okay. All right. So that's with an upgrade to it. Yeah, the lives of those people over there in Africa where they are mining out the nickel cadmium and those things it's atrocious, and it should be illegal. It's bad. And you have reporters who've gone over there who've gone missing trying to trying to put the truth out there so people know what's really going on in Africa over there. So let me show you something here. This is from, I've never heard of this news agency. It says newsinenglish.no, views and news from Norway. And the headline, and this is from January 10th, electric bus flees froze in the cold. Oslo's public transport agency, Ruter, had to cancel nearly 200 departures again on Wednesday after thousands of cancellations earlier in the week. The city's fleet of electric buses simply, well, it looks like they have no problem with the translation, simply not operated well in the recent cold snap. That's another thing that you have to worry about with these. And I don't know if you've heard about it or not, Chad, but the people who they've driven their electric car to work, they got to work and the battery was dead. They throw it on the charger, come back out, and it won't even take a charge. Let's see, Lena that's our friend from Norway there. And there you go. That was a question I was going to have for you, was about the buses and everything, whether or not they were freezing in the cold.
It's funny that everyone's saying that, but I had an electric car for 3 years. I never had any issue with charging one day.
It may be with the new advancements that are coming in with these new batteries and everything. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. I just saw a news report recently here in the Detroit area where they were interviewing this lady, and she was talking about how she got to work. Her battery was dead by the time she got there. She watched it just going down as she's driving. Once she got to work, she turned around and threw it on the charger, came back out. Battery was completely dead. It didn't even take a charge. Let's see, minus 25 Celsius, and you would do that to me, wouldn't you? Let's see. Here we go. Fahrenheit to Celsius. You said minus 21.
Minus 25, yep.
Oh, minus 25. Oh, thank you for correcting me.
It would have been pretty close, but whatever.
I'm joking. That's minus 13 degrees.
Wow, that's pretty cold.
Yeah, let me see here. Right now,
and I will say you're right on the one fact that electric cars do lose, 20 to 30% charge, just like a gas car would lose 20. It's less efficient in the winter.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the problem that I'm seeing with a lot of them is that they're getting it. Like I said, the woman she's just one of many that I saw reports from, and she was. She said she threw it on the charger, went in for 8 hours, came back out, and the car was completely dead.
Marshawn makes a good point. I don't live where it's negative 25, but I mean, it was 5 degrees the other day here. So,
we're sitting at 31 degrees right now in Southeast Michigan. That's where I think electric should go into public transportation. That would be amazing. Well, like I was showing in Norway, that's what they're doing. They made the commitment, then they went to. From the reports I read, is that they made the commitment and they're moving towards an all-electric fleet. But the problem is they're having to cancel thousands of the bus routes because the buses are dying in the cold. And I hate to see that. I really do, because I would like to see that, that you could operate these electric vehicles and it'd be good. It doesn't make me happy to see it. So, and it's not just Tesla. And it's not just Kia. That's where you think the electric should go into public transportation. That would be amazing. But you start looking at Tesla and Kia and all those. And the thing is that they're all having issues. One of the major issues that they're having is with the technology. They're having computer glitches. I'm sorry. I'm just have so much, I'm hit that mark. I'm real happy.
Nice.
So, but here's another problem that people are finding with them, and it's becoming more and more and more of a problem, is cars catching on fire. As you see underneath there, that's literally arcing and the wires and such. Turn the volume off. Now, this is a BYD, which is the company that just beat Tesla in their sales. So they beat Tesla in the number of vehicles that they're selling, but this is becoming an all too often thing. There's a lot of video coming out of China where these vehicles are literally, you'll see an entire building burned down because a car caught on fire under a carport. Now, this one is from Sacramento, California. And let me see if I can find any information on this. It doesn't give an upload date on it, but this is a short, so you'd have to go to the actual channel. And this is a Tesla that had been involved in an accident. And it says Tesla vehicle sparks fire weeks after the crash. So it'd been 1-2 weeks, who knows how long, but this is the Sacramento Fire Department pulling up, and there is a Tesla that's fully engulfed, and it's been sitting there for a while after an accident had been in. Man, this guy doesn't know how to use a camera. But, you know, and I really worry about the fact that I hope they're not using water on that. I mean, it's something that has all that electricity in it, you know, and that's sad. And we were just complimenting Elon Musk for the advancements. You remember that, where we're talking about how he made the new aluminum injection molding system, like the plastic injection. Yep. And it's crazy. You know, I don't know, Tommy. Can you tell me, Chad?
Yeah.
Insurance is higher. It's higher for EVs.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Exactly. I've heard that from many people. Yeah, that's true. I guess it wasn't for mine because mine was a used, pre-owned car. I think the Teslas are higher.
Joe, go back to the horse and buggy. Well, Marjan says if she could afford it, but with having had the anti-venom for a long time, I was allergic to horses, so I don't want to be nowhere near horses anymore. Let's see, Dance Ma, I would think like they had an insulation wrapping around the car. I will tell you that my friend's combustion engine was freed when he went through a water puddle because of the intake. Yeah. That's you get some of those and they'll end up sucking in that water real quick, and that's another thing that's been real big. There are videos coming out all over the place about these things catching on fire. And then let's talk about repair costs. Consumer Reports has going back through records and everything, it's 80% more expensive than a combustion engine vehicle on repair bills. I told Chad and I were talking about the guy from Canada who the battery went bad in his Tesla, and the insurance company said, scrap it. It's going to be $50,000 to replace the battery. And those are, I've said it before. I've said it a lot of times, I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired. So I have a pension that comes in. And one of the things that worries me is suddenly I'm going to have a $50,000 bill on top of what I'm already paying for this vehicle. That would scare the hell out of me. What do you think, Chad?
I mean, I agree with your concern and everyone's concern. I mean, I had my electric car for 3 years. It was just like a cell phone battery but it was more reliable to where mine was still charged up to 100%. It had almost 62,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a learning curve, and I see everyone's concern. I would be concerned too if I was to buy another electric car.
If you got any questions or comments, folks, make sure you're throwing them in there. Don't worry, don't be afraid. I love seeing the interaction with everybody that's watching. Let's see. I would like they had insulation. Okay, so you're talking about. Okay, I see what you're talking about. It was fried when he went.
And I know that it is pretty troubling with the electric cars catching on fire. Those were pretty bad. I do want to say that a lot of gas cars do catch on fire too.
Lena, number one, sorry, not impressed. New cars with everything electronic, it's bad as well. It looks nice and dandy. Doesn't matter if it's gasoline, diesel, hybrid, or full electric. I think one of the things that really ticks me off, and I know that it's with the ever increasing prices of vehicles, it drives me nuts the amount of plastic they're putting in everything nowadays. Yeah. But then again, here it is in Michigan. I know people that have 3-year-old Dodge pickup trucks, Chevys, Fords, and they're already rusting through. So, I mean, I like the fact that Ford went over to the aluminum on the F-150.
Yeah, that's a start.
Let's see. Programmed obsolescence. That's a really good point too. I mean, where they, um, you know, would you see these manufacturers programming them so that they're going to die after a certain point? That's a very, very interesting. Anna, thank you. Just finished the interview with Aaron. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Hey, Fanatic, what's up? Had a friend that a battery went dead under warranty, cost $30,000. It would have cost $30,000. We were just talking about that. That guy from Canada, $50,000 for a new battery. But we're talking, Fanatic, where are you living at? This guy was in Canada, so that might be the conversion rate on it too. Number two, I live in an area where power outages can be happening in large periods during the winter. A lot of EU cars are have fully galvanized bodies. I wish they'd do that here.
I know, that's a good idea.
Another problem that people are seeing, GM and VW, they're recalling thousands over software glitches. Man, that would tick me off. And one of the last major complaints that people have is that the cars aren't meeting up with the range that's being advertised. What do you think about that, Chad?
It's hard to speculate about the range. I mean, it's probably true. It's probably true to some extent,
But I see that in the gasoline powered vehicles as well.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't going to go there again, but yeah, they all spec you up.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, that might be the conversion rate from U.S. to Canadian. So it's $50,000 over there. Plus, and we got to look at the time difference when your friend's battery went dead and everything. So
I think a good bridge would be a hybrid. I drive the Prius. It's just a good compromise for right now. A good bridge to get you until we decide, until either electrics get better, or like Poe said, they either come out with a hydrogen or something else.
Yeah. I feel like my dad and you still have the same refrigerator from 50 years ago because you read the manual and everything, and these vehicles are very elite. Here's something that's crazy, Dance Ma. Well, no, first off, my wife ain't gonna let us have a 50-year-old refrigerator. Ours is like a year or two old. But the thing is, man, that refrigerator, these new ones, too much technology. But 50 years ago, I don't know if it was that, about 50 years ago, when you bought a new car, it told you how to change the oil, how to set points and plugs, all those things. Now they say, don't drink the oil. Used to be you had a full jack and a full size spare. One of my wife's biggest things is that every time if you don't know, my wife has a courier service, so she puts tens of thousands of miles on a car a year. Chad and I were talking, in 20 months, she put 160,000 miles on her last car. So one of her big things is that she has a full size spare, because she could be in the middle of nowhere. And let me tell you, my wife can jump out and change her tire like it's nobody's business. So, and that was something I was very big about, is that she needed to know how to change her vehicle, how, and be able to take care of something if she has some kind of mishap on the side of the road. She's out there and she's driving and she's in the middle of nowhere. So to me, it's very important that she is able to take care of the situation, get herself back on the road, get herself out of harm's way. And Lena says, totally agree. I would consider a hybrid. That's something I've been looking into also. Here's my problem. We're planning on getting about a 30-foot tongue pull trailer, which means it has the regular bumper hitch kind of pull for it. So we're looking at something like that. We're looking in the 7,000 to 9,000 pound range. You start getting into a hybrid in a truck at that point, and you're really going to limit your mileage on it. So that's something we have to take into consideration. I've been seriously looking into a diesel engine as what I would go with, because the diesel has much more torque. It's going to get much better gas mileage under towing conditions. So, and I'm not against the hybrid at all. My wife had a Honda Civic hybrid, And I remember I left from here in southeastern Michigan and went down to Nashville, Tennessee. And at one point, we were getting nearly 50 miles to the gallon out of it. So let's see. I had a computer module go out in my Cadillac S. Oh, you're just bragging now, Joe. 3 months after I paid it off, man, I know how that feels. I got that extended warranty on the BMW X3 I had. I needed new brakes. I took it in. It covered everything. If I needed bulbs, wipers, everything, it covered it all. So I take it in. I was like, I need to get the brakes done. They did it. I was looking at the paperwork and I was not charged because I had the extended warranty. But daggone, it was almost like $4,500 is what they would have charged me. Let's see here. Welcome, Lee. Today's EVs are equal to 8-track tapes. New EVs don't have batteries. They produce, not store electricity on board. I have no idea. Chad, what do you think about that?
Well, I get the gist of what, like, basically, like, he's saying, like, I don't want to quote him, but, like, the cars are like a gas car would be like a Model T. They need to improve them. Every year they're going to hopefully improve them and hopefully see some improvements if they keep making.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to see that where they're going from storing electricity to producing. But I was watching a physicist who was showing how that, like people were saying, why not just put an alternator out there and have it produce electricity while you're driving down the road? And he was showing how it was impossible under current technology to do so. And I was like, I just don't see how that is. Then when he actually showed it, I was like, wow. And he did it in a way that you could understand it. Geez, we're still trying to get certified in diagnostics. Well, you mean Dianetics? Is that what you mean? Mm-hmm. Or diabetics?
Nice.
So let's see. I still remember checking the spark plugs and drying off battery cables. Yeah, I remember that stuff. That was awesome. Hey, Nina, that's okay. Late again. You missed it. I hit 5,000 subscribers just a little bit right at the beginning of this live stream. It all translates into crippling. Translate as crippling. Did I miss something there? But yeah, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it, and Chad, I want to hear what you think. I think that we found this great possibility in electric vehicles. We started making the right strides by going to the hybrids, half electric, half combustion engine. And then they started building more and more of the electric cars because the electric car is not new. One of the first vehicles on the road was an electric car or carriage or whatever you want to call it. And there's been electric vehicles throughout history, but we've never had the technology to have them proper. And as we start moving forward, we're doing it at such a rapid pace and it seems like everybody's trying to prove we can do this. The problem I have is, do we have enough time on the books to prove that it's reliable and it can be kept running? And I think that there's been this surge to move forward to prove that we can do it, that there's not enough technology into maintaining and sustaining these vehicles. And because it has been such a fringe thing for so long, that's why everything's so expensive. And then you have all these new manufacturers that are coming out. Rivian, I can't remember some of the others, but they're coming out with these new vehicles that have never been there before. So, of course, parts and everything are going to be expensive. My wife's 2015 Ford Focus. Chad knows because we were talking about it the other day. In Toledo, she's out. As I said, she's a courier. She's driving around. And a plow truck literally came over and caught her and got her front fender and broke her headlight. I paid $80 for a new headlight assembly for a 2015 Ford Focus. All right. That's still within relatively young age for a car, but $80. I literally went out there. It was 2 screws and 1 cord, hooked the whole new one up, bolted it in, and it's beautiful. I'm actually thinking about getting another one for the other side so they match up and it looks real nice. Let's see. My hometown is 2 hours from Detroit, 2 hours to Buffalo. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. Car industry everywhere, and Dad, that taught us a lot. And I think that's very important. I I've talked about it before. Chad's heard me talk about it, talked about it to death, I guess. But the fact is that here we are in this day and age where my daughter's friends had came over to visit with her, and I'm showing her how to check her oil. I'm showing her how to check the different fluids in the car, minor maintenance things. And I made sure my kids knew how to do all this. It's just, I think sometimes they're just too lazy to do it. But so here it is. I'm showing her friends are like, I didn't know how to do that. And so I'd set something up for a Saturday so they could come over and I could show them. And here it is. They came over, but not just them. Their dads came with them. There were 2 dads that came along because they didn't know how to do this stuff. They didn't know how to change a tire. They're like, well, my car doesn't even come with a spare. And I said, what do you do when you're in the middle of nowhere and it's going to take 3 to 4 hours to get a tow truck to you? Whereas you can change this out in 15, 20 minutes yourself. Now, those guys have floor jacks, the flat jacks that you use the big handle, pump it up and down. They have those in the back of the car because that's what I believe in. I like having a floor jack right there. But they have those. They have full-size spares now in the backs of their vehicles. And, I think it's very important that we have these things. Sharifa, thank you so very much. Hello, sir. I saw you live with Aaron. He is so great. I loved it so much. I love his channel. And I get to know yours. Thank you so much for being thank you for being here and being a part of this. What was the most beautiful thing you did on duty? The moment that made you so happy? Chad, what do you think that was? You've heard me talking about this stuff before.
Oh, I have to think. You have so many great stories, Paul.
Well, not the funny ones, but the one thing that I've done 7 times that would make me made me happy every time.
I can't think off the top of my head, Paul.
You just don't know me at all. You're supposed to be my friend.
I'm thinking of the funny ones, but go ahead.
Sharifa, my happiest moment being a law enforcement officer was being there to deliver 7 babies.
Oh, okay.
That was the most amazing thing in the world. 7 babies. Sharifa, where are you located at? You don't have to tell me the city. I'm just wanting to know what country you're from. Let's see. Yeah, Dan Small, not even when it's overheating, if you've been running it for a while.
Yep.
If the wife comes home and her car she's saying that she does think she has enough coolant or antifreeze in her car, that thing's sitting until the next morning. Till I can go out and put my hand on the engine block and it's not hot. That's when I'm checking it, because I've seen people, and as a police officer, I've been to scenes where people have unscrewed a radiator cap while the vehicle's hot. No. Remember, that's steam that's coming out of there. Lena, totally agree, but manufacturers and politicians mainly, are in a hurry and greedy, and they hide, I don't know what that, behind TNGD. And if you investigate, it's not green. Oh, the Green New Deal. It's not so green in the big picture. And that's one of the problems that I have, is that with this so-called Green New Deal or plan or whatever, you'll have to forgive me, I'm still having sinus problems. One of the problems I have is a lot of things that they're pushing for are just not, they don't do anything for the environment and can actually cause more harm in the building of it. I am not a naysayer or one of those deniers of climate change. I believe in climate change. I believe that we have had a big impact on it. So, but think about it. Long before there were people on this planet's gone through numerous climate change situations where we've reversed from the climate that we have to a polar age and back. So these things are going to happen. We're just helping to move it forward that much more quickly. That's my belief on it. But I'm not a denier. I believe that there is climate change. I know that people now, they are finding all this microplastics in everything. So have you heard about that, Chad?
I actually have, even inside the fish and all kinds of crazy stuff, right?
Yep. And there's nothing we can do about it. We've set ourselves on this course, and there's nothing we can do. Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Awesome. Yeah, 2:30. When I'm over in Southeast Asia and it's, anywhere from 12 to 13 hours ahead. And so it gets kind of frustrating there. Marjan, I believe that most fire departments don't have everything they need to put the electric vehicles out. I know there was a big push back when I was working. And the thing is that when they came out with a new foam for that. Let's see. What was it? What do I get for winning? I don't remember what I was saying. Dance Ma, Google is amazing. My daughter fixed a leak in her sunroof with an ink pen casing, saved hundreds of dollars. I wouldn't be surprised. The new headlight showed up for the wife's car, and I ended up going on YouTube, watching the videos. They're like 3-minute videos on how to change the headlight housing out on a 2015 Ford Focus. Literally 2 screws, and you pull the main butt connector off of it. I was like, are you kidding me? It took me longer to put the bulbs in and get them inside that doggone tiny housing with my big old meat grabbers here. So, but yeah, I was amazed. And I literally went to YouTube and saw it. Let's see, Mary Smith, my dad and I rebuilt a 1965 Ford Thunderbird. Did you change it to a Batmobile? Oh, that would have been Is that what year the Batmobile was? You remember, Chad?
That sounds pretty close.
Yeah. And there is something magic about being self-sufficient. Exactly. You know, the fact that you can sit there and go do it yourself. You don't have to pay someone to do it. You don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to be whether or not they're going to do something else to your car, whether they're overcharging you. I mean, let's face it. I called my wife called about getting something done to her car. The guy on the other end is trying to get her all these other things done. And she says, call them and listen to what he's saying. I called, and it was early in the morning, so my voice was very deep. And I've been told that sometimes I can be kind of domineering in the way that I talk when my voice is real deep. I don't mean to be. But the thing is that I called, and he didn't try to push half the things on me that he did on her. And I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing that. Oh, and Marjan, you got it right about me delivering the babies. Okay. Free prize. Thank you. So I'm joking. I'll do something up for you. Let's see. Great idea for creator content. Would love to see that the auto know-how with kids and others. My dad mumbles about electronics these days for 40 years. Yeah, it's I mean, I do it too, but you know, I mean, I've always been one of those. I've been very progressive. I love watching anime with my kids, reading manga. You know, and someone had said that they don't want anything to do with it. They don't want it around their children. And you know what? That's fully your decision as a parent. You know, but I'm watching what we're doing, and now my kids are 26 years old. They're twins, so yeah, they're doing. They can do what they want. I can't stop it. Microplastics, yes, I've seen the coverage. Yeah, it's scary stuff. And then when you see about the floating piles of plastics in the oceans, scary.
Did your community? I know in Buffalo they banned the plastic bags about a year ago.
No, they had done that in Malaysia while I was there. And the bags that they were using to replace them felt like some kind of weird skin membrane thing. It was gross.
Well, you don't get. Oh, sorry to cut you off. You don't get bags here. You have to bring your own, which it took. It took a long time to get used to it, but now I'm used to it. You know.
Well, you know, what we've done is, without them banning it, we want the paper bags. Don't give us the plastic bags. Give us the paper bags. We can reuse the paper bags. Although for some reason people just the crazy thing is that you got these young people who are bagging them, and they're putting like 800 pounds of cans in one bag, and the minute you pick it up, it tears apart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Nina, Canadian News has articles about EV batteries being unreliable in cold weather. We were talking about that. We were also talking about in Norway, and Lena had confirmed it, but they were having a lot of cancellations on their bus routes because the new electric buses just aren't handling it. They can't handle the cold. And I was talking about things I had saw in the news here, where folks who have electric vehicles are getting to work and their battery's almost dead. I was talking about one lady literally watching the battery decrease, and I'm just doing that as a example, because I doubt that they have any kind of analog gauges in electric vehicles now. And the thing is that she got to work, threw it on the charger, came back out, and there was nothing. The battery was done. It wouldn't accept any kind of charge. So I won't even put a cigarette butt out on the ground, because I heard it takes 1,000 years to dissolve. I'll tell you right now, if you didn't know it, I smoke. And the thing is that they are, you just got to be careful how you do it. Mine generally go into like my burn pile. I've said it before, because I've got people going through our mail and things like that. So they're going through our trash, which I'm making sure I'm putting a lot of Roscoe droppings in that trash. So have fun with that. Hey, Mark is here. Mark Fisher, if you don't know him, it's our old pal Mark Fisher from Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's
Part of the Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion channel. He also has another great one that is on travel. And Mark, you weren't here for it, but I broke 5,000 subscribers tonight. So
great.
that was it was driving me nuts.
Oh, by the way, Poe, I know you were talking about your trash, and Chad is still not good enough to have somebody pick up his trash, folks.
Well, you know what? I'll be more than happy to have him come over and go through your mail. Sharifa, yes, I actually was there and delivered 7 babies. Literally, in every one of them, it was me, the woman who's pregnant. I had a couple times I had new officers that literally were just like, so I had to do it. But yeah, 7 babies and 32
amazing.
years in law enforcement, dance mob, but this is the way in the future. I don't know. Like we were saying, is that there's a lot of technology coming out. Toyota announcing a vehicle that runs off of ammonia, and they're getting between 800 and 1,000 miles range out of it. And apparently it's somehow processing to make hydrogen. I don't know the full extent of it, and that's above my pay scale. So, but if it's doing that and it's 99.9999% clean efficiency, why wouldn't we be doing it? And Quad, I'm sorry, I'm not going to.
I was going to ask, how about the Transformer one where the guy, with his hand? That's a good one.
Which one was that one?
The Transformer. It was a live Transformer, and he wanted the metal.
Oh my gosh! Oh, okay, so you all want to hear a funny story from when I'm a cop? We had a guy that was in the town, and his claim to fame was he had went into. We have these. We call them power farms, and they're basically where they have the big on-ground transformers, and all the electricity's coming in, and it's getting shipped out from there to all the different places. Well, he was going in, and the way that he was checking was he'd listen, and if the box was buzzing, he didn't touch it. If it wasn't buzzing, hey, he was stealing the copper off it, because they got like copper like that thick. So he goes in, and he goes up to one, and he grabs it, and boom. Well, he ended up, I believe it was his right arm. He lost the right arm at the elbow, and he lost both legs at the knee. What was crazy was they took the bone that was left, bent it. So this is right at the knee. They took the bone that was left and made a foot. And you'd see this guy, and this guy could rollerblade like a professional. So one night I'm in the station, and it was on a midnight shift, and it was getting about 3:30 in the morning. So it was the time when we have we have all the DUIs that are going on. So I was actually in the station. I had just finished a DUI arrest, and I was talking to the lieutenant, and we hear this horrible noise, and I look out the front window, and you see this car slowly creeping by and just throwing sparks out where the tire had been on the driver's front wheel. The tire was gone, and it was just throwing sparks as he's sitting there trying to rev it, get it to go faster. And so I'm looking at it, and I look over at the lieutenant. I go, well, you don't see that every day.
Mm.
And he looks at me and he goes, you going to go do something about that? And I go, yeah, but I can walk out the station faster and he can get past it. And he, just get out of here. So, and, you know, we were just joking. I was getting ready to walk out anyway. I had a new officer with me. I grabbed him. I said, let's go. Said, we're getting number 2 for the night. And so we go out and get in the car, and the station's on a corner. So he had turned the corner and was on the other main road. Get up behind him, pull him over. Now you literally got to remember, I walked out of the station, got in the police car, started it up, and he'd only made it like 150 feet. So he wasn't getting any traction out of that. And so we make the stop, and I tell the new officer, you make the approach and get the information. We've done enough traffic stops. You know what's going on. I want you to make your observations. I want to know if you smell an alcohol, what you're seeing from the driver, those kinds of things. So we do that. We walk up, and I look, and I see that it's the guy who has lost his arm and lost his legs due to grabbing onto that transformer. And I was like, and I yelled his name. I said, what's up, man? And he's sitting there, and he goes, I know, Bo, I know. I know. And he's sitting there, and I realize he's got a piece of wall molding, you know, the wall molding pieces that the floor and the ceiling and all that. He's got one stuffed up underneath his armpit, and he's got it going down, and it's working the gas and the brake pedals for it. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And he's using his good hand to drive with. And I looked at the rook, and I said, look, take him out. You're not even going to be able to do a field sobriety on him. And he's like, okay. The minute I said that, he turned around and he locked his arm around the headrest of the car. And the young guy is in there, and he's trying to get him out of the car. And he just finally stops, looks at me, because I'm over on the side laughing my head off. And he says, you think you can help me? I go, all right. So I open the passenger door, and I start coming in the side door. Our friend turns and looks at me, and he goes, Poe, and immediately let go. We got him out of the car, got him to the station. But yeah, it was absolutely stunning to me that this guy, he had been drinking, and he had also been using some recreational stuff on top of it, and how he just thought he was just fine driving down the street looking like a fireworks festival going off. So, and I've cleaned it up a bit too. There was a lot of bad language and things that were said, but I'm trying to keep this family friendly. Marjan, also have you ever noticed that of all the bad, I just think that they're driving the Toyota pickups. I hope you're joking about that. But the reason why that is in a lot of countries for a long time, people couldn't afford thank you, Mark. Thank you. They couldn't afford the American-made vehicles, and Toyota, Honda, and those companies were bringing them in, and they're very low price. But the next thing you know, they're seeing how high quality they are. So they've remained a mainstay in a lot of countries, and they're actually less expensive in those countries. Plus, in a lot of those countries, they don't have a lot of the regulations that we have. So those vehicles are coming in, and they're able to bring vehicles in that are selling in Asia and Southeast Asia, and they're less expensive. So that's one of the reasons why you see them so popular. And those old Toyotas last forever. So idiotic thing is that unions of drivers, buses, etc., have advised against changing all out buses to electric. When will they ever learn? Well, that's because politicians always think that they know best. Let's see, that one channel on China talks about Chinese cars failing. It doesn't seem the weather is a factor of failing there. Yeah, I just don't know. Oh, Mary, no, it wasn't 7 babies at one time. I probably would have had a seizure. Come in and find that. Name drop on 2 of the most amazing police officers I've ever met. I'm going on anyway. Jeff Lewis and Alan Glick. All right. Mark, I'm late to the show. Did you already talk about the frozen cars at charging stations? Yep, but we can still talk about it some more. One of the things I had been talking about was in Norway. I think they've gone to all electric, but I may be wrong on that. And if I am, sorry. The headline is, and this is newsinenglish.no for Norway, and it's views and news from Norway. Electric bus fleet freeze in the snow, and I can't talk tonight. And this is from January 10th. The Oslo Public Transportation Agency Ruter had to cancel nearly 200 bus departures again on Wednesday after thousands of cancellations earlier in the week. The city's fleet of electric buses has simply not operated well in the recent cold snap. So we talked about that, and we also talked about the reports that I've seen where folks are on their way to work in the intense cold here in Michigan. And when they're getting to work, they're finding that the batteries are drained. They plug them in, and they're not charging. They're coming out, and their cars are still their cars still had no charge to them. So those are some things I'm talking about. And I also want to point out, for those of you who are newer into this and didn't hear it, I'm not anti-electric. We were actually looking for electric vehicles, but I'm also one of those, I study what I'm going to be getting, because as I said, I'm a pensioner. I'm on a pension, so I'm on a fixed income. And it's very important to me that if I'm buying something that's going to be that big of an investment, I know what's going on. So Inquad, you'll be honored with trash picking once Amadeo takes that case at Chad. Yes, we know. Once Frank Amadeo's involved, Ron, if he hires him. So what do you think?
Fred, that's my goal. That's Amadeo's goal, is to be attorney of record for Ron.
Let's see, Mark, I haven't heard what Tesla solution to it is. Whether you like electric vehicles, whether you like, I just lost it. What's his name who owns Tesla? Elon Musk.
Yep.
Whether you like him or not, whether you like his politics or his policies or whatever, the dude is a genius. And he has come up with amazing ways to handle a lot of things. I mean, he created a new style of battery that he's using in Teslas that are now being replicated by other companies. But dude's smart as a whip. So I think that if anybody will be able to come up with an answer to it, it's going to be Elon and his crew. Let's see, Dance Mala. This is such an amazing thing to have birth happen. It's like the greatest. Yeah. But you know what? When you're a cop and you're sitting there and it ain't your chillins, and probably one of the craziest ones, we pulled up dead of winter, 8 inches of snow on the ground. The woman is sitting on the porch with her back against the door. She's got her legs spread eagle, and the baby's coming. There wasn't nothing I could do. I literally, once the child had come out, I literally ripped my shirt open. I wasn't even thinking. I just ripped it, grabbed the baby, shoved the baby inside under my shirt and inside my coat. The ambulance got there. They cut the umbilical cord, and they told me just keep the baby like that, wrapped a blanket around us, and drove us to the hospital with mama. So let's see here. Let's see. We have been doing interviews about abuse, so haven't done one on his false arrest. We just put up a horrific story about Scott Campbell, locked up and drugged and beaten for weeks in the Freewinds. Wow. Whoa. Yeah.
I'll have to catch that.
If you guys don't know, Mark and Janice, who have our Scientology stories, a lot of interesting information coming out of there. They really know what they're talking about. And Janice, she's like one of the OG originals. She was a child on the first ship with L. Ron Hubbard, and can tell you about. I interviewed her, and if you want to go back and look at that or go to their channel, Mark, throw your link in there for us. And if you want to go check out their channel, you can hear the stories about being on that ship with L. Ron Hubbard, listening to the stories. Let's see. But then at that time, it was between paper and computer and Secretary of State. Oh, okay. You were talking about the problem you were having. Lena, I had a Citroen XM83 model it could run on frying oil. And well, Chad and I have talked about that as well, about the diesels that you can run on vegetable oils and things like that. Let's see. Yeah. 22.5 gallons would run for 280 miles. I think I got it converted correctly. Well, here's the thing. We, with the diesels, what's crazy to me is that our government has made it illegal in a lot of cases to do that with the biodiesel and everything you have. Why aren't we allowing people to make their own biodiesel? Why aren't we allowing people to make their own alcohol? You can use switchgrass to make alcohol. And with conversion processes, you can actually run your vehicle off of them. We're so crazy about we have to end oil. Why not let people start, doing that? And if anybody is here from Brazil, was Chitza from Brazil, I believe?
Not sure.
But in Brazil, people use sugarcane, create their own alcohol to use in their cars, in their lawnmowers, things like that. Let's see, Mark, thanks. I think what happened to Aaron was outrageous. Yeah, and if you haven't, folks, I just did a live stream with Aaron Smith-Levin earlier, and yeah, we were going over his arrest. And if you haven't heard about it, I suggest you go over to Growing Up with Scientology, Aaron's channel, and check out what has been going on with him. And then I've done a quite a few videos covering everything that's happened since. Janice is going to Clearwater Saturday to do a live with Aaron. Man, Chad and I have been talking about it. We're going to try to put together a run down to Clearwater so we can join in on the A1 auditing there. I was saying a compliment to Toyota because they last so long. Yep, exactly. I thought you were joking about it. So I did have a charge on there, but okay. That's more about what was going on with you. Let's see here. Did I just go all the way back up to the top? Oh, yeah, you're from Alabama. Sorry. Sorry. That's my bad. Well, just lie to us. Tell us you're from. Let's see. Marshawn, thank you for the interview with Aaron today. Thank you. I had a great time with it. I think we've got a lot out there. Yeah, there was a company, I believe here in Michigan, it was just recently opened an alcohol production plant that's a non-consumable alcohol, and they're doing it specifically to create fuel with it. So it's a renewable resource, and it's a very high efficiency when it comes to the emissions. Yeah, Lena, sadly, that's what a lot of it all comes down to is money. I'm sorry, Chitza. You know what? I knew that, but for some reason, I'm getting old. First Live found you from his live. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Chrissy.
Wow, hey, Chrissy.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here. Let's see. Because it's a dependency monopoly, why we can't use our own resources reference fuel. Yeah, I think it all comes down to, as Lena was saying, and as you're saying, it's all about the money. Show me the money. Let's see. Regulations help on distillation, if that's an idea, I think, through limits of risk management. But the thing is that it takes a lot to, I know how to moonshine. It takes a lot to actually pull alcohol out of stuff. Oh, let's see here. So, folks, thank you, Chitza. It's harder to remember any of us now that I'm a 5K channel. No, I still appreciate every one of you. I appreciate it. Your time is precious, and you spending it with me. Oh man. Let's see, Chrissy, where in Michigan? I have family in East Jordan. I am in Southeast Michigan, about 7 miles southwest of Detroit Metro Airport.
Wow.
Let's see. If you take care of 11 beautiful beings those 11 beautiful beings that made you, that's what makes you amazing. Hey, so all right, folks. Well, it's been a long day. Wife isn't feeling good. I went out and I did her courier service for her this morning. Got back, jumped into the live with Aaron. My friend just got out of surgery earlier today. He's doing well and he's in recovery. So, yeah, thank you, Nina. Everybody, please hit that like button if you can. It helps with the algorithms. And also, if you haven't already, please think about being a subscriber. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, as I always say, life is short. You get one shot. Make it count.